What can dreams teach us about consciousness? You're asking the right girl, because I'm Rachel, the neuroscientist. So there's a few different phases of sleep, and dreams typically occur in REM sleep. REM is a conscious experience. If you look at it on an EEG, which basically measures electrical activity of the brain, it looks incredibly similar to wake. There are two key differences that separate wake from REM sleep. First is that we're kind of temporarily paralyzed, so we don't act out our dreams. Secondly, there's a precise blend of neurochemical soup in the brain. So there's high levels of acetylcholine, for example, which keeps the brain active. But there's low levels of things like norepinephrine or serotonin, so it keeps basically any sensory distractions out. When you compare wake and REM, you realize that most of our waking conscious life is dictated to us by our sensory experience. What are you seeing, hearing, smelling? What's interesting about REM is that while it's a conscious experience, it's internally generated. How? Activating a memory or a part of a memory means activating the groups of neurons that hold that information. If I want to mentally imagine a red balloon, it's not going to be one neuron, it's going to be thousands to millions of neurons that all become active together to conjure up that image in my brain. For that to happen, they have to have really strong connections between them so they can send that information really, really rapidly. And the process of activating a group of neurons really just means you're flushing current through that entire circuit of connections. Now, electrical current is very much like water in that it will take the path of least resistance. If you think of having like a network of pipes, and some of the pipes are really big and some are really small with like very little space and high resistance, the water is probably going to go through those big pipes because there's less resistance. So an internally generated conscious experience like REM sleep or dreams, it's like you're flushing current through the brain. It takes the paths of least resistance. That means that our dreams are very often going to involve memories or small bits of memories, more accurately, that are really, really deeply encoded into our brains. And so still, your waking life and the sensory information you've processed previously will still get its greasy mitts on that internally generated conscious experience. But what would happen in REM, or an internally generated conscious experience, if you had never collected any sensory information at all? Ask me in the comments, because I think there's a very interesting model we can use to look at that. What can dreams